The land known as Palestine is the crucible for much of the turmoil in the Middle East. The inability of the Israelis and the Palestinians to resolve their territorial disputes after 68 years, over half a century, greatly contributes to the chaos in the region.
Iran can still be a place where thousands chant about the deaths of America or Israel or Britain. This was Tehran last Friday, on a march supporting Palestinian rights in Jerusalem.
Please note that this was a march supporting Palestinian rights in Jerusalem. Also, be reminded that the rights of the Palestinians are at the forefront in virtually every dispute in the Middle East.
The basic cause of the conflict is a sustained occupation of other people's land by the Israelis. And this is a direct violation of United Nations resolutions. It's a direct violation of the International Quartet's roadmap. It's a direct violation of the commitments that leaders of Israel have made.
Why would Israel, a country that shares our values, do something like this?
Israel is a small state surrounded by Arab countries 650 times its size. Only 44 miles separate between the Jordan Valley and the Mediterranean Sea. After the Six-Day War in 1967, when Israel was attacked by 4 armies on 3 fronts, United Nations Security Council Resolution 242 stated that Israel was entitled to new defensible borders to replace the previous fragile lines from which it was attacked. What are Israel's defensible borders? What are its essential security needs? The Jordan Rift Valley, Israel's eastern frontier, forms a natural barrier between Israel and the countries of Jordan, Iraq, and Iran. The Jordan Valley rises from an area that is 1,200 feet below sea level to a hilly ridge of up to 3,000 feet, creating a steep 4,200-foot virtual wall opposite any force attacking from the east. If Israel were forced back to the 1949 armistice lines, the Green Line, the country's width would be reduced to a narrow 9-mile waistline that would be impossible to defend.
So therein lies the dilemma. The Palestinians see the West Bank as their new homeland, but the Israelis see the West Bank as critical to their defense.
The idea that Israel needs to control the West Bank to protect its security has been refuted by the most important figures in Israel's security forces. Former head of IDF intelligence Amos Yadlin said, "If there is no peace and no two-state solution, then Israel will be destroyed." And former director of the Shin Bet, Yaakov Perry, explains that settling the conflict with the Palestinians is Israel's existential need. The bottom line is clear. Israel's security depends on reaching a two-state solution.